Okay, there's three main ways people DJ these days. Modern DJing, where you play the best parts of each track. You love mixing quickly, you layer your tracks, you're putting together combos, and in truth, this is great for DJs that want to control the energy, not only through the tracks they play, but also how much of each track they play and how they transition between tracks. Then you have soul DJing, which is about playing the music, letting the tracks breathe, taking people on a journey. And then thirdly, a hybrid of both approaches, which is where I personally sit. And that means playing the best parts of each track and still building in the wow moments, yet also balancing faster transitions with more drawn out transitions. But here's the thing, right? If there's any part of you that considers yourself a soul DJ, even just occasionally, you need to know how to beat match without looking at all, because being a soul DJ or even a great DJ means being connected to the music, and that means listening, not looking at your screen. So in this video, man, I'm stripping away every crutch, sync, no more waveforms, just get rid of the screen entirely. And that means breaking it down into 3 training drills that will have you beat matching with complete confidence without relying on any visuals whatsoever. Okay, buckle up, man. Okay, the easiest way to develop your beat matching is to remove the crutch completely and hide the big waveforms that show the beats. So if using a standalone, you can do this simply by hitting back or browse. And if you're on a computer, you can hit space on your computer or select browse from the drop down. Okay, so now let's return to basics and simply practice lining up the beats using our ears. So this is how to move the jog wheel, how to actually hear, how to listen for it. And this is going to actually apply for controllers and club gear. And I'm also going to show you how to actually make the beats stand out a little bit louder using your headphones, so you can be 100% sure that when you get your beats in sync, that they are in sync. Okay, let's jump in. So we're starting at the beginning here. The next 2 examples are a little bit more complicated, but we need to know how to move the wheel, and we need to know what to listen for, and we need to know how to make it more clear in our headphones. So we're going to do all that now. So firstly, to do this, I've gone and found a song with an intro, and I've just looped the first 8 beats, and I've loaded the same song into both players. I'm going to hide the big waveform now, just hit browse. Okay, so we can still see the little waveforms down the bottom, but we just can't see the beats, which, man, honestly, everyone's looking these days, and when they're looking, their beat matching suffers. I hear that, so no looking, okay? Cover up that screen. Okay, so this is deck 1. It's playing, and we'll do both songs out loud for now. Okay, so the first thing is I've got the same song in both decks, and both songs are at the same BPM. If the songs are they're different, they look different here, just use the tempo fader and just drag that in, make them both the same. One thing quickly, if you're moving the tempo fader, I'll go back so you can see it for a sec, but if you're moving the tempo fader, and let's say it's being quite erratic, you want to look at the range. So here I've got the tempo range. So at the moment it's plus or minus 6, which means you can move the tempo pretty much plus or minus 6 BPMs from its original sound. Then you got plus or minus 10, plus or minus 16, and then wide, which, you know, that's where it's pretty difficult to line up the beats when you've got that. I suggest plus or minus 6 or plus or minus 10. But another thing is when you're moving this, you want to make sure the master tempo button is on. If that's off, when you move this, it's going to actually change the pitch of the sound, like the key. So you move that and it might go all chipmunk. So consider this an anti-chipmunk button. Always have that on. So step 1, same song in both decks. Make sure that the BPMs are the same. Then we're going to hide the screen. Okay, so we've got here 4 beats. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, play. Now they're both playing together, and this is where we use the jog wheel to listen to see if the songs are in sync or not. So if I go one way, there it is. I got it in one move, okay? That's the songs perfectly in sync. But I want to show you now how I move the jog wheel. See, if you're using a controller, or if you're used to lining up the lines, you're in here doing this or doing whatever. That's not how to do it on when you're using your ears. When you're using your ears, I think a move like this. So it's like, you know, not like this. That doesn't do much, especially on the club gear. You want to give it a little push, but you can also do this same movement on any controller. So you can practice for the clubs, even on your controller, by moving the wheel, kind of like that far, but a jolt. Not like this. That doesn't do anything. More like, and then you can hear it. Okay. and there it is, there's the sound. But another thing is, which way do you turn the wheel? So say you hop on and you're not sure, just turn the wheel, and if it sounds worse, then you know it's the other way. But I know from teaching a lot of people that people can hear when it sounds worse, so they go back. And then as they're getting closer, they start to doubt where they are. They get to a point they're not sure. And what I see from teaching a lot of people is when they're not sure, they're close. So I like saying this, if you're not sure, one more, keep going in the same direction. So if I'm not sure, one more. Cool, not sure, one more. Oh, I might have gone too far. If you've gone too far and you don't know where you are, go back the other way. If you're not sure, one more. And there it is, perfectly in sync. That not sure, one more thing, that's actually a great metaphor for life. So let's say you've got a project or a goal you're working towards and you start doubting yourself. If you're not sure, you're close. So keep it up, keep moving. Okay, so I want you to practice that. That's really good. And of course, I got the same song in both decks. When it gets perfectly in sync, it does that phasing sound. That's actually really cool. So do that first up, do both songs out loud. And what you're doing there is you're getting used to moving the wheel and hearing that sweet spot when both songs are perfectly in sync. Once you've done that, I might add headphones. So before I get into the other two drills, I want to quickly talk about how you can hear more clearly if the beat matching is perfectly in sync using your headphones. Okay, so there's three main ways you can use headphones. So one way is I've got my headphone cue on for the song that I'm mixing in, and I've got one ear on, listening to the song I'm mixing in, and the other ear off, listening to my speakers. Now, that's okay, but when playing live, sometimes the speakers are in front of you facing out. And if you've got one song here and the other song in your head, like, out there, that can be really difficult. So I don't suggest that method at all. I think a really good way of beat matching is just hearing both songs in your headphones. But the problem with that is that if I've got both songs at equal level in my headphones, what happens if I want to make the one that I'm cueing in just slightly louder? And you don't have that kind of level of control here. So as a beginner, this is a great way to start, and I can hear both songs, and this one here, when I play it, I can't hear it there because the volume's down. That, when I take the volume up here, that doesn't change the volume in my headphones. That's the speaker, okay? So if I got that one playing there and then this one playing, you'll hear this one because the volume's up, but this one I'm cueing and I can hear both in my headphones. So that's one way. But if I want to be able to make this one slightly louder, what I can do is I can take off the cue for the song that's playing out loud. And then what I can do up here, next to the master volume, you'll also see a cue. That's your master headphone cue. So if I select that, that means then anything coming through the speaker, I can actually now hear in my headphones. So I can hit play on that. Now, this here is my mixing dial. So if I go towards master, that's turning up this one completely. And if I go towards cue, it's turning this one up, the one that's cueing in. And in the middle there is actually the equivalent of that, hearing both songs equally. So if I want to make the one I'm cueing in slightly louder, just move this a little bit more towards cue. Okay, so practice that. Let's do one quickly. Okay, I've got my headphones on. And then once you feel you've got them in sync, bring it up and do your transition. But one last thing before we move on, and that is, do you actually tap in here? Now, I see a lot of people tapping in like this, and because the volume's down, you won't hear it. You hear it in your headphones only. And honestly, that's fine. Like, I'll show it out loud so you can hear it, but it could be like, Okay, great. I got it perfect that time. Honestly, tapping over here to the side does the same thing. You could also be 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and then just tap it in. Okay, they both do the same thing. Now, another thing is, sometimes people still struggle to hear stuff in their headphones. And what you can then do is, I find by turning the high up, so what we'll do them together, okay? If I turn that up, that'll be in my headphones only. So this would be in my headphones, but then it kind of makes it a little bit sharper. See, there it is. Perfect, okay? So you got that. That just makes it a little bit like, amplified in a way. Then you got the bass as well. Some people turn that up, just makes the one you're mixing in louder. So if the volume was down, it'd be like this, okay? Oh, it'd probably be like 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hold that down, then push this, and then you could do your beat matching. You could turn that up to make it a bit louder in your headphones. Cool. Once you've got them in sync, then you can go do your transition. second drill is pure repetition, and it's the fastest way to build your beat matching reflex. So here's what to do. Take one song and play it against itself with a small BPM offset, even 0.5 or a 1 BPM difference. Then when the beats drift out of alignment, just practice getting them back in. Now this sounds so simple, but this is what trains the ear to catch the drift instantly. And when playing on club gear, sometimes the beats do drift slightly. So that means if they're drifting, and people freak out by that, oh my God, I'll just use sync. But no, this is like driving a manual. So it's working with the car, working with the gear, knowing your gear. And if you want to be a soul DJ, man, hearing those drifts and being able to correct them on the fly, man, it's gold. So I'll show you how to do it. I've got the same song in both players there. And let's make this one 123 or whatever, you know what I mean? Now we can shut it, we'll close it, and then we're here. And then I'll go on, we'll do it out loud so you can hear it. Okay. And then they were in sync, but it's already drifted out. So look, if I go that way, that's worse. So it's actually, I need to speed this one up. Cool, got it in sync. Now it's drifted again, okay? And this just practice you hearing the drift and keeping it in. Beautiful. It drifts. There it is. See, I got it, but it's come out immediately. Cool. And see, I'm doing that move. Not like this, more like... Cool. The wheel really responds well to that. Beautiful. And just keep doing that for a bit. If you wanted to, you could even go into this side. Cool. You could do both sides. Beautiful. 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 This is actually a lot of fun, hey? I love doing both sides. Beautiful. And you get it in sync, then let it drift, and then do the other side. See, and look, you're getting really quick at this. It makes normal beat matching easy. If you want to make beat matching easy, then try beat matching with 0 visuals. This means grab 2 tracks. Now I suggest using tracks that have a small difference in BPMs. Load them up onto each deck and then cover the screen. So the goal here isn't only to match the beats, but also to adjust and match the tempos of both tracks without looking. Okay, sure, this is a training drill and you're never expected to do this live. Yet by practicing and mastering this now, it makes normal beat matching a piece of cake. Okay, so here's the method. First of all, I've got a song here. These BPMs might be a bit far apart. Like I've got one at 124 and one at 128, okay? So I'm gonna cover the screen completely. And I have gone and looped it for now. Maybe stick around because after this, I can get rid of the loops and that means you do it in real time as the song's moving and that's amazing. But for now, let's just keep the loops, keep it the song from coming in at this point. Okay, so say this one's playing 124. I do know this one's slower, okay? So I hop on here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And see, look, if I go this way, that's worse, a lot bad. So I do know this one's slower, so let's go. Okay, and listen. And see, just to kind of keep it okay, I'm doing pretty big moves here. See, if I go this way, see, that's just terrible. So I do know that it's this way and I do know it's fairly big moves to keep it there. So the bigger the move, that means this song is definitely slower, which means I have to slow this one down. So if I'm doing if I'm doing big moves this way to keep them in sync, that means I probably have to do quite a big move here as well to slow this one down. So maybe I'll move that, maybe that far. Let's have a look. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, they're obviously a lot closer now, but I need to find out which way is better. So if I go this way, let's start again. See, that is still sounding better that way, so I'll move this a bit further. It's still that way, okay. Okay, cool. And the goal now is get them in sync And then if they're drifting, before touching this, find out which way sounds better. So it's still that way. So if it's still that way sounding better, it means I still got to slow it down even further. Okay, we're getting closer now. Okay, but now before moving this, find out which way sounds better. Beautiful, it's definitely that way still. Okay, get them in sync. Now, if they stay in sync, that means you've done it, you know? And that's sounding pretty good, but now we're getting to the fine tune. So let's have a look. It's that way now, listen. That way, so it's just, we're close, but because it's that way, it speeds it up, so I've got to take this down. Okay. And to be honest, that's probably good enough to go to a mix now. Let's have a listen. Let's have a look. Oh, 124.1. Okay, so I was 0.1 out, but that's the idea. So the actual steps in doing this is, okay, you load a song with 2 different BPMs. Maybe having 124 and 128 might be too far. Honestly, just maybe find 2 songs. So one at 124, one at 126, like 2 BPMs different, okay? And then cover up the screen. And then what you're going to do is you're going to hop on and find out which way sounds better. And if this way is sounding better, that means then you have to move the tempo fader and adjust it. Now, a lot of people think, why is speeding it up down and not up, you know? And look at the jog wheel. Like if speeding it up's this way, then that's a continuation of that, speeding it up and then slowing it down. Okay, so slowing it down is this way. So if you're moving it this way and it's sounding better, just adjust that accordingly. Then the 3 steps start. Then what you do is you go get them into sync. If they're staying in sync, awesome. If they drift, before moving that, find out which way sounds better. So if they've drifted, hop on here, and if that's sounding better, that means you have to slow it down. But then you repeat the steps. You get them in sync. If they're drifting, find out which way sounds better. And then if that way is sounding better, then you adjust it. But then the closer it is, the smaller the movements here. And you keep doing those 3 steps until you get the songs in sync or you feel that you can do a transition. Okay, so how about I just do it now quickly at a transition point without looking? And how about I'll make it a bit easier for myself. I'll keep this one at 126. This one's at 124. I'll take the loops out completely. And let's go for a mix. So I might even fast forward. So let's take it up to here. Okay. Okay. And I'll see if I can do it by the transition point. Okay. Let's see how I went. Oh, I did it. Okay. Okay, so I'll be honest, right? This is what makes you a beat matching master. Not because you always do it this way, but because if you can do it this way, then it doesn't matter if the grids are out or the waveforms are playing up or you haven't got sync or whatever, right? As you can trust your ears and your skills. And I feel this is a must and a lost art of DJing actually. So man, hop in. So there we have it, okay? So 3 drills to be a master beat matcher. This doesn't mean you have to throw away sync forever and don't have to swear off looking at the waveforms either. But when you can beat match confidently without the screen, you're not relying on anything outside of yourself. You're just DJing, and in my opinion, there's no better feeling. By the way, if you like the idea of looking less, I'll link in a video I did a while back where I teach not only how to beat match with zero visuals, but also how to mix without looking either. This reproduces the vinyl days where we had to take educated guesses on where to mix. Now sure, I'd never do this live, but at the very least, it's a fun way to develop your skills and connect more deeply with the music. Okay guys, I enjoyed this one. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next video.